my goodness. And just like that, we are live. Well, let's just get started. What is going on? You are watching and listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we're here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. I am your host, Steve V. This is episode 755. Holding down the fort with me today, in for Cody, is Teddy Alexis. How are you, Teddy?
Hello, hello. I'm good. How are you?
It's good. I always look forward to do the show with you. This is so fun. I
I
love
know it's been a
it.
minute.
It's been a minute. That's right. And we are in front of a live virtual audience. So keep those questions coming in. And we might as well just get into our sex talk, which has to do with a topic that we were talking about with Cody on episode 754. When it all began with a new study that says gay men feel hotter when they're on vacation. And we
Mhm.
tapped into it a little bit on that episode 754, but I thought there's something here that we need to share some more stories about our travel and what that really looks like. And I thought it would be a great tie-in to Madonna's brand new single, I Feel So Free, which in the lyrics talks about, of course, Madonna reinvention and feeling like a different person. And there's lines like their safety in numbers and how she's would like to be like everybody else, but she can't help herself but taking on a new identity. And I just love all that. It's very
Mhm.
Madame X, and the Queen of Madonna, Queen Madonna has always been transforming. And I thought there is something there for us to talk about. And as I said, the new study says gay men feel hotter on vacation. And honestly, we didn't need science to tell us that, but now we've got new data and it's kind of fascinating. Madonna, like I said, I feel so free. The idea of shedding identity, becoming someone new, it's kind of it lines up perfectly with this
Ah.
idea of vacation energy. So, with that, Chetty, is this
Mhm.
confidence? Is it attention we get? Or is it we finally let ourselves be seen? Since you didn't really get to give your idea on the study, what do you think about that? That
Mhm.
guys feel hotter on their on vacation, holiday, as they say in the UK.
Right. Um, Sorry about the alarm. I got a silver alert while I'm doing the live. It's a live
Oh,
show.
wow. Okay. Is everything
Uh,
okay?
I think there's somebody missing, but it's like kind of far, but it's in the area. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I agree. In so this study, you know how I am. I always gave away myself into the science.
Yes.
It's hardly a study. It's like the N number, which is the number of people that they consulted, was like 13 or something like that. It's like
Yeah, I
really
know.
small.
Well, that's
There
why I
were
thought it
men
was
of
funny. We
color,
didn't really
which I
need
love.
one.
Yeah, we didn't need it for sure. It's like a little bit of confirmation bias. I like
Yeah,
that.
did they just call
But
their 13 friends and ask them?
yeah, but what I find interesting is that there is this kind of universal feeling, and I think it could be something about the kind of like the new meat, kind
Yeah.
of environment where well, first of all, you're new, everybody's new to you too, but also there is this lack of kind of consequences a little bit that we can feel when we're traveling, right? Because nobody's judging us because nobody knows us really. They don't have any context of who we are. And for some of us, and we might be talking about some, realities about being a full person in jobs maybe later in the podcast. For some of us, maybe that's the only way to like kind of like let our freak flag fly for a weekend or a week, or so I think that it's more not feeling hotter, but more of like that confidence and that lack of care that brings in and makes you portray that you're feel hotter. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, you used at the beginning what something that Cody said, fresh meat, new meat,
Uh-huh.
definitely. You know that feeling when you start a new gym in a new town and the
Oh
gym is a
yeah.
great place to meet new people and you are
Mhm.
fresh meat and that's always exciting.
You
But
meet people at the gym?
and I don't anymore in my gym because
Wow.
I'm in the basement and there's older people and so it's not that
Uh-huh.
interesting. But back in the day, I did. Now everyone's on their phone and yeah, you
Yeah,
can't
that's what
seem
I
to
was
meet.
gonna say, like the devices.
Yeah, but I was saying on the last episode that one thing is you're stress free, hopefully. You're not carrying all the weight of the workload, life,
Mhm.
and you've allotted your funds for this, so you're about to have a good time. Have you ever met those couples that say, "Oh yeah, we don't go out in our own city ever. We don't go to any of the bars, but when we go out to
Mhm.
travel, that's when
Mhm.
we're out." And some of what the science basically says when you're in a new place you're on the grid, there's more messages, more attention, there's more curiosity. I mean, you're not trapped in your home city's hierarchy or typecasting, but
Mhm.
there's desirability isn't really fixed. It changes depending on where you are. Travel lets queer people step outside limiting beauty standards and feel more desired. But do
Mhm.
you think you're actually hotter on vacation or just treated hotter or just treated hotter, like people are treating you? I don't know if
First
you're
of
actually
all,
hotter. It's
saying typecasting in dating is wild. That's so wild to me. Um, I think it's both at the same time. It's just like that's why it's so universal because
yeah.
both things happen at the same time. It's just like you're more confident, there's more attention towards you, you're in a more free environment. That's why I mean, you think about it, like when the soldiers come to town, like that's like a guarantee lay. So that's why
Yeah.
everybody around it is just
Fleet
like
Week.
hello, hello, hi, hi. The same thing with tourists, right? Like, and straight people do it too. It's just like, oh, there's a flock of American girls over there, and all the boys are like, what up, what up? Like, so I think that there's something energetically about somebody passing through town that really creates that, which is really interesting. And now that we know, like, we can harness that, right? So,
Yeah, absolutely. We needed the city. I mean, well, let's talk about some personal stories when we did feel
okay.
hot on our travel vacation. It could have been a moment, it was a specific trip. And I started going through some of my memorable where I really felt sexy or hot, starting back when in 1994, I live in New York City.
Damn.
And in 1994 was the first year for a college trip. My friend brought me here to New York City. And my best friend at the time had a friend that also we were our sugar daddies at the time. Not really, they were our friends. Paid for us,
Uh-huh.
and we went with them to New York City. And it happened to be the gay games, so it was summer. I think I saw Vanessa Williams in Kiss of a Spider Woman, but I remember my friend and I, we were best friends. We were go go dancers in San Francisco, and we bought these DKNY. Remember DKNY when it was like the rage? And we bought
Mhm.
these sarongs, and we thought, let's wear these sarongs tied around our waist and look cute,
Can you
showing our
explain what a
legs.
sarong is?
A sarong is a piece of light fabric that often is used at the beach, but in this era, Donna Karan DKNY was trying to have it go down the runway as fashion, where you just kind of tie it and it's just loose. You're showing like a slit and your legs are
Mhm.
exposed.
It's
Normally, you
kinda
would
like a
wear it
skirt.
kind of a skirt. You would wear it outside of the pool by a resort, but the way
Mm.
she was showing it was on the runway with boots. So we thought we'd be cute and run around New York City wearing these sarongs. And I remember meeting a guy that lived in Texas, and my friend met somebody too, and we crashed at their place. Okay, we had sex, and it was fun. And the next day on a Sunday, had to walk from Times Square to where we were staying in these sarongs, looking
Uh-huh.
like
Talk about a
yesterday's
walk of shame.
total walk of shame. But you know what? We marched down that street proudly. I think I had more sexual confidence and I was in a brand new city like New York and seeing that anything goes. And I felt free,
Mhm.
sexy, and
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, Do you have a moment where you felt very sexy or
Absolutely. I
hot?
was I wasn't gonna go to the 1900s,
I
but
know, I went there. I'll bring it. I have a more current tale to tell.
94. Oh my goodness.
I know. I'm
um,
showing my age, right?
I know. I was actually gonna talk about a couple years ago when I went to New York and I saw you guys. That was two
Mm.
summers ago. That I felt really sexy because you guys took me out, you and Cody, and I was with one of my best friends from college. Uh,
Yes.
and the four of us, we were just hanging out, but everybody kind of was like, people were flirting with people and then coming back to the group. There was like a dark room. So I felt like because I was with people that are very familiar to me, you too, and obviously one of my best friends from college. So I was really calm, but also there was like, sexy people in
A
the
naughty
dark
side
room.
to
So
the
let me
night.
do like something naughty. Let me have a drink. Like all of that was to me like a very sexy full experience, and I don't think I would have done that if I was in LA.
Oh, that's interesting.
You know what I mean? Because I've
Do
been
you
to
think age had
places.
something to do with it too? Because I remember back in the
Oh
day,
yeah.
even in those early days, where if I was with my friends, I would be much more tame and worried that they would be thinking, "Uh-oh, there goes Steve."
Right,
And as
right,
I've gotten older, I've gone out with Cody, you guys, a lot of my friends, and all that stuff doesn't like, who cares? You kinda want your friends to have a good time, and you lose
absolutely.
that sense of what are they gonna think about me?
Yeah, I think that it's also the case for me too. I think that when I was in my 20s, I was like really worried about everything. I was also a prude and basically a virgin, so that's like a different scenario.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was also like, if somebody was flirting with me, I'm like, oh no, no, not in front of them. Like something
Yeah.
like that day, I was just like, oh yeah, hey, what's up? Like, look at my friend. Like it was just, I think the energy make me feel hotter because I was at ease with what I was doing. There's some calmness that in within your body also projects hotness,
Yeah,
right?
and right, the more confident you are, the body language
Hmm.
changes. People read body language and how you're carrying yourself, and you don't wanna go up to somebody that's enclosed, shoulders down,
Absolutely right.
and when you feel confident, you are perusing the room, you're giving good eye contact. That's sexy, that's attractive. You're more likely
Mhm,
to go up to somebody. I mean, I remember not feeling hot. Years ago, I went to Rome with some friends. We went to a gay bar, but
mhm.
I had ruptured my Achilles tendon and I was on crutches, but I was not about to give up this vacation. And on the
Uh-huh.
vacation, we decided to go to a gay bar, and it was one of those European bars where you had just 2 steps down to open the door, and then you opened the door to the bar, and you had to walk up 2 steps up, and I'm on crutches, and
What?
I'm sweating under my armpits because I'm walking all around Rome, which has cobblestones, and we get in there and it's crowded, wall to wall people. And my friend's
Mm,
like, "Just come on, if you." And my friend's telling me this guy, this Italian, but with piercing blue eyes, is staring at me, and I'm like, "Oh, no, he's not." I didn't believe it. Well, it turns out he was,
uh-huh.
even in a time that I did not feel hot. And he approached me, and I went
Uh-huh.
off with him, crutches and
Oh!
all, got on his Vespa and said, "Where am I gonna put the crutches?" And he said, "Oh, don't worry." And he just put them on the side, and I grabbed him from behind, and it was so Breakfast at Tiffany's moment. He took me all around Rome at
More like
night.
Hillary Duff.
Okay, I'd like to be Audrey, but
Yeah.
we ended up at his place, and my cast on my foot was up in the air having a
Yeah, I mean,
gay old time, and he didn't think I was any less hot and took me out of that. So see, you can feel hot on vacation.
well, he probably was attracted to your lack of mobility. He's like, "Oh, this one is not gonna run away from me."
Yeah, we're gonna
That's amazing.
exactly. I mean, we kinda kept in touch. We're gonna talk a little bit about that in a second about,
Mhm.
you know, when you meet somebody overseas, and how does that differ from somebody in your own city? But we are live, and Bryce watching
Yeah.
us live says, on vacation, we embrace more of our authenticity, which positively shifts our energy. Good energy fosters feeling of freedom, and freedom is sexy. Yeah, I would agree. And my God, if you can't feel free on a vacation, a holiday, where you've spent good money, allotted this time. I've gone on with good friends, with family. I've gone solo. I'm gonna have a good time no matter what.
Right.
And yeah, absolutely. It does foster positivity, and I love that. Keep
Something I
those kind
like
of
about
yeah.
what you were saying, it's that it ties into a couple episodes ago when we were talking about, the good and the bad, and that you can start a relationship in the bad. That's like a physical representation of that, because that person was like, "Oh, this guy's in a cast, but I bet he wants to go have a good time." It's not like you have a cast on your hole, is it? So,
No, that was working. That was all
yeah.
working.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And then Diego and I, when I met Diego, one of the first trips that we went on was simply to P Town. We drove to P Town and we did like, I think 2 nights there. And we stayed in nearby Truro, which has a wine area. We went wine
Mhm.
tasting, but I'll never forget feeling sexy with Diego because we went to a drag brunch. And this one was probably early May, where people weren't, the streets of Commercial Street weren't crowded. And we went to a drag
Mhm.
brunch in a teeny tiny place. And the drag queen, of course, picked on us and asked us, well, what are you two doing? And I, of course, couldn't keep my mouth shut and said,
Mhm.
we're on our first getaway. And she was like, first getaway. And everybody was
Mm.
looking and like oohing and eyeing, but it felt really good to be with him and to be even pointed out by a drag queen. And typically, that's the last person you want to be pointed out
Yeah,
by.
yeah.
Don't sit in the front row. But
Yeah.
it felt good. It felt validating. It felt sexy. It felt seen, and ultimately it worked. And yeah, but yeah, I liked that idea. What about, is there a fantasy effect to travel where you're do you take on a new persona when you travel?
Mhm.
Or I have done that in the past. I don't do that anymore. Like when I was going to
Yeah.
Africa, I had to look the part, learn the
Oh my god,
specific
what do you
language.
do?
Well, I had scarves around, very out of Africa. I learned
Oh my god.
some of the lingo, like leka, which means that's really cool. They have a lot of
Mm.
lingo that they talk, and I used to take on wherever I was going.
Where in
Like,
Africa do you go?
well, we went to South Africa and
South
then
Africa. Mhm.
Zambia for actual safari, and I wanted to look the part when we were in safari with
Uh-huh.
proper camo, and I had ordered a leather hat and,
Right.
I wanted to look the part, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
my personality doesn't necessarily change. Do
Mhm.
you take on a new persona?
No, I think that I am somebody that is really interested in the local activity. So I'm just a curious person.
Yeah,
So anything that people will throw at us, like, oh, try that, like I will try it. Um, in terms of persona, no, I'm actually more chill when we're traveling. But I'm also really cautious too. So I'm the one that is like making sure everybody is like in the bus and like all that
yeah.
stuff. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah,
Um,
yeah, you're really taking it all in, it sounds like.
yeah, 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 yeah. And if it's a chill vacation, also depends on the mood, right? Because sometimes you go
Yeah,
intentionally to rest,
right.
and so that's different. Yeah, but
It
gaycations are always a little bit on the chaos side, and we have to embrace the chaos sometimes, right?
Absolutely. Throughout the years, I've done gaycations with larger groups, super
Mm-hmm.
fun. I've gone solo traveling, not a lot, but when I did, I had a blast because you can really be who you want to be and explore. And you're not on anyone's timetable but your own, and it can be, I recommend that to everybody, and once at
Absolutely.
least really go on a solo trip. It can be really exciting and fun. definitely for the sex and who you might meet. But
Absolutely.
and do you think that there's like a darker side to travel? I mean, have you ever stayed somewhere long enough to watch the magic fade? And I'll answer that
Mm.
really quickly. I remember going to Miami for several years and just, I mean, Miami, right? It's practically Latin America, the
Yeah.
food, the sultriness, the men, the beach. And I remember going one too many times and thinking on a Monday, I woke up, I was staying by myself in an Airbnb, and
Mhm.
Washington Street or Washington Boulevard, where some of the bars are, didn't look so cute on a Monday morning, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean. I saw too many of the cracks in the
Mhm.
surface and all the things that seemed glamorous and fun and, oh my gosh, I want to just live here, didn't seem so glamorous anymore on a Monday morning when I was walking around and just seeing a little bit too much of, over partying people, and the lust and allure faded for me, and I thought, "Okay, it's
Ooh.
time to go home," and I didn't go back for a long time. In fact, I don't think I've gone back since. I will, but yeah, have you ever felt that with a place, stayed too long where it's like, "I need to go home?"
I think if it's like a tourist place, like
Yeah.
very touristy, I feel like you'll see that if you stay too long.
Vegas.
Kind of like the machines resetting, right?
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
see them like all like getting back together, and you're like, "Oh, that's what that is."
yeah,
Because especially if you go to like the lesser islands, we call them lesser because they're smaller in the Caribbean. That like literally everything is around tourism. You
yeah.
can see that. You can see that a lot.
Great examples, yeah.
Yeah. So those are the places that I think I've seen that. And like in Hollywood, like down the street, Hollywood Boulevard, it's that way too, where like there is like this certain put on for the tourists. I always tell my mom is always, she always goes to there's this store that has like $5 souvenirs. And of course, every time we go, she's like, "Oh my god, they're special. They're $5." I'm like, "Mom, they do that every day. Like,
And are they
it's
good
never
stuff or trinkety and
like
just
trinkery, like
yeah,
Hollywood, like a little
yeah,
star, things like that." There are some good finds in there, but it is a souvenir place at Hollywood Boulevard. Like, it's not gonna get it. It's not gonna be something like massively special.
yeah.
So I think that I have experienced that in those settings for sure.
Yeah, places like Vegas, which I love, but I can only do a couple days there
Mhm.
because, once you see too much
It's a
of that
great
ding, ding, ding,
example.
ding, ding in the
Mhm.
casino and I like to go with on a mission to Vegas and hit a couple shows, go to some really good restaurants, a couple attractions, a concert's always great, and then get
Yeah.
out. And New Orleans kind of feels that way. I know a lot of people,
Mhm.
it's so fun, but I can only stay there a few days because it's just on overdrive, and I feel
Mhm.
like, "Oh my gosh, it's just, like, a lot," and I can see some of the smaller islands in the Caribbean as well like that too, that it's the whole tourism thing too, and so,
Yeah.
yeah, but in terms of, like, feeling like a different person, I was thinking about cruises like Vakaya, where I
Uh-huh.
mentioned, like, on trips like that, they build in so many costume parties that are they're
Uh-huh.
always like Halloween for the gays, slutty, right? Everything's less is more. And you can take on different personas simply by putting on costumes and meet different people. And I think, have you been on a gay cruise yet at all?
Yeah, I was gonna tell you. I don't know who Teddy is in a gay cruise because I haven't been to one. You know what I have in my head, and you correct me if I'm wrong. It's
Okay.
like a bathhouse, but like for 7 days. But it seems like it's not. Like, can you tell us a little bit for those that haven't had the privilege?
Yeah, I describe it similar to Puerto Vallarta. Like you can make it whatever you want to make it. If you're
Okay.
looking, and certain cruises are going to cater to like the larger cruises are always going to have nightly parties, and they're going to pull in some of the best
Mhm.
DJs. And in Vikaya's case, they even have a red light district, which I've
Mhm.
run before, which is after hours fun, right? You can play. But a lot of these cruises are they have excursions. So you almost don't want to stay up
Mhm.
too late because you want to get up and you want to go wherever the cruise is stopping. Now, Caribbean tends to be smaller islands, and maybe you want to get off, maybe you don't.
Mhm.
I know they're going to a Mediterranean one, which you'd likely want to get off in some of these ports because they're cities you may or may not have been to, and you can experience those. Well, if you're out partying all night long in a bathhouse thing
Mhm.
like you are, then you're not going to
Yeah.
want it. So you kind of have to manage your time. Entertainment is always on point on some of these larger cruises. I've seen Vanessa Williams. A lot of the drag
Mhm.
queens are all comedians. They've got great singers. You can fill up your night, restaurants, and there's a lot to do. And so it,
Okay.
yeah, some of them are geared more towards the party, like you said, bathhouse moment, but you really should make it a melange of all of that to have a true experience. And they're a lot of fun. So
Okay.
yeah.
So it sounds like a regular cruise just with gay people.
Yeah, oh, believe me, the staff that work on these cruise ships love it when we come. I mean, I think they either love it or they don't because they have to work a little bit longer. Hopefully, they get paid more. I mean, hopefully, we tip more
Mm,
because a regular cruise does not bring in sound systems and DJs, and we literally bring in sound systems for the pool area, and it's
yeah,
like a
yeah.
whole light system with videos. They don't have that in normal cruises, and so it's
Mhm.
not as much fun. So, yeah, I think absolutely. Was there any comments that we wanted to read before?
Yeah, Doug was talking about the Gaslamp Quarter in San Diego, that it's kind of like a neighborhood
Yes, I
gay
love
area
that
that is,
area.
he says that it's not so sexy in the mornings,
Oh yeah, I could
as
see
it
that.
is in the evening. So I've
Yeah,
been to San Diego, but I don't really know where I was. I was just by the water, stay a couple days,
yeah,
make my
Gaslight
own like
District,
little.
right? It's. I could see where it might not look so cute the next day. Like I said, Bourbon Street looks a little rough around the edges
Yeah.
the next day, and but that's okay. It's all fun. I mean, Diego was just my husband was just showing me this trend for relationships right now that kind of applies to
Uh-huh.
travel. It's called the sevens. Have you heard of the 777s for relationships?
No,
It's
no, no.
it's a whole thing that can help keep your relationship healthy and in check. 777 refers to relationship rules that you keep with your partner. 7 days, you plan a date.
Mhm.
7 weeks, a mini trip or like an overnight situation, like maybe I did
Mhm.
in P Town or I've done with upstate New York. We stayed at our
Every
friends.
7 weeks, these are very white, very rich gays, I
Well,
think.
but and then we'll discuss it. And then every 7 months, you plan like a longer getaway, vacation, all with the hope to structure quality time and getting out of that roommate rut that you might feel with your partner, husband,
Mhm.
long-term partner. And I really like that because it gives structure to your relationships. If you have, I think we all need structure. I mentioned before that early on, Diego and I have started couples therapy, not because there's this major issue within our relationship, but it's
Mhm.
giving us communication tips, tricks,
Tools. Mhm.
and structure. And
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of structure, discipline. We do it for so much parts of our other lives. Why not
Mhm.
for our relationships? The 777 thing sounds trendy, like the latest thing, but
Uh-huh.
I kinda like it because every 7 days, if you plan a date, I think that's good. We're
Absolutely.
plan A date night is so important to get
Once a
out with
week.
your once a week, really
Mhm.
good. 7 weeks, a little mini trip overnight. You can find deals where I like that one too because, with I mean, maybe with gas prices right now, apparently airline tickets are going up. Oh my goodness,
Everything.
but if you can maybe just you could do a staycation somewhere locally, and you can usually find some deals on Airbnb. 7 months is good for a longer. What do you think of this 777? Does this work for you? Is it good? Do you like structure?
I like the structure. I don't know about the seven. First of all, I like it
Like, why
that
not
is seven
eight or
seven
six?
seven and no 666, not the number
Right.
of
I
the
mean, can you
beast.
imagine? Yeah.
um, I the only thing I have a little bit of concern about it's the trip every 7 weeks. Uh, but I
Mini
do
trip
like
or overnight?
or overnight. I do like the structure, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's what you're doing with your partner too, with the therapy thing, is you're creating structures in how to communicate. And I think that anything that can help a couple kind of interact with each other, and especially in this hyper capitalist society that we live, where like we're really encouraged to leave our home life and like do a ton of work. um
Yes.
so I think that that's, and I value my time, and I value my partner's time too a lot. But I had a couple students who really needed me to teach a summer class, and I'm like, guys, I don't touch my summers. Those are like really healing for me, and if I'm like
Precious.
bringing more work into my life, and I'm a professor, I have the privilege to have summers off, and I trust me, there's a reason why teachers, educators need that time off. It's because we get drained. So I
Yeah.
think that that is something that we can do intentionally as a couple to have those numbers. And I love the markers. The only one that I'm a little the 7 week ones, but everything else is just like, it seems like something that
Yeah. And I
should
think,
work.
if it's a rule, it's a structure. I think if you took 8 weeks, if you took,
Yeah, yeah,
nine,
absolutely, yeah.
six, whatever's obviously going to work. Everybody has different lifestyles, different schedules. And it's that idea, though, of putting something in the calendar for and nourishing your relationship, giving it a little bit of structure, I think can be
Hmm.
a really good thing. Bryce said, "I'm lucky if I get 7 messages on a dating app. I love it." Oh,
Bryce is starting with the right seven, I think.
yeah,
Seven messages.
exactly. Well, let's do a last quick lightning round. We love to do those on this
Uh-oh.
topic. Just the first thing that comes to your mind, just spit it out. Hottest city you've ever been in? Hottest city? I'm gonna say Berlin, because it's just, I mean, from Schonenberg area to all the leather bars, every bar has a dark room.
Mhm.
It's embraces sexuality. It's got Tiergarten, which I love saying, is their version of Central Park, and it's in the center. It divides the new versus the old part of the city, and you can get lost in there. It's just like a forest. You can do. There's a naked area for naked
Ooh.
sunbathing. And Berlin. What would be yours?
Mine is a little bit out of left field. It's DC.
DC.
Yeah, because this is just my experience. I haven't
Because
traveled as
the
much as you.
correspondence dinners,
No,
White House correspondence
absolutely
and
not.
Grinder's gonna be there this coming
No,
week.
it's because I did an internship in the Library of Congress, believe it or not.
Oh, I forgot you're
And
smart.
yeah,
You wanna be around
and
smart people.
yeah. No, but what happened was it's the DuPont Circle. It's like there's so many gay bars there, and it's like there's a gay Latino bar, and there's like a black gay bar, and there's like where the whites go. So it was like a really fun, like sexy area. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
everybody was in the circle, kind of like getting snacks, and like you could cruise there too. It was just like this is 20 years ago. It was like a very sexy area for me.
Yeah, DC
So
can be very sexy, and also the
yeah,
way ha have you ever noticed the way it's structured? It's in purposely s
yeah.
it can take a little while to get from point A to point B because it's all done in this
Mhm.
circle
In the
loop,
circle,
so
yeah.
that the idea being that you couldn't get to monuments in the White House easily, they made it
Mhm.
hard, and with that comes these circular kind of DuPonts in that area, and it's very
Mhm.
cool. I love DC. That was a good pick.
Yeah.
One thing you'll only do sexually on vacation. That one I
Hmm.
don't I'm not that one I don't know that for me personally I've ever differentiated my sex
Yeah.
life. And I mentioned I had friends that won't go out in their home base city, but when they go
Mhm.
out away,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I'm the same. How about you?
I think I'm the same too.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
yeah.
think, I mean, I think we're very sexually expressive, both of us.
Yeah,
So
right. So we
to tame
don't
ourselves up during all the time and then live ourselves in vacation, no.
yeah. And if you notice I brought up that same story of people that I know that really they're they only become sexual when they go on vacations. I wanna be sexual all the time and
All the
have fun,
time. Mhm.
and so I wanna know my city, and so I don't really differentiate it. And lastly, have you ever reinvented yourself for a trip? I think I mentioned I on a Vacaya cruise, I definitely have donned a costume or 2 and became a cowboy, became whatever glitterati thing I was trying to become, and I mentioned Africa. Yeah, I have. Have you?
Mhm. The only thing I done differently, it's that now I travel really light. Uh, I'm
Oh.
like a very effective traveler now since I'm traveling a little bit more. So you and I used to travel when there were no bag limits. Remember
Yeah.
those?
Yes.
Uh,
50 pounds is so hard for me.
you see, I don't even do carry. I don't even check bags anymore. I only do like my one carry on. Look, isn't doesn't sound that sound crazy? For a
Yeah,
gay
but honey,
man.
if you go on one of these cruises, I know some of these costumes are slutty and light, but they
Mhm.
add up and they add up to weight too. Even when they are little skimpy numbers, I mean, it's like this costume and that costume, and you got to put all that in there, and yeah, so yeah.
It says 7 costume parties. Is it really?
It's almost depending on the cruise, but they tend some of them are easier than others. Some of them they provide like there's always a welcome event where a lot of times it'll be a dog tag and they'll provide the dog tags with a sticker like green, yellow, red. Green is I'm single, ready to mingle.
Go for
Yellow
it. Yeah.
is, you know,
Ask.
proceed with caution. I'm not telling you what my situationship is yet. And
Mhm.
red is I'm
No
which is a
thanks.
little jarring, the red one, because it means that you're coupled up. But my friend Will of Tantric Fitness brought
Uh
up that I
huh.
love, he says, red's a little jarring because you could still, it's like, oh, don't talk to me because I have the red.
Right.
And it's like, we should come up with a different color. Like, I am in a situationship, a
Like
couple, but
orange,
yeah, maybe, oh, I love that. A burnt orange,
like an
perhaps.
orange.
An orange. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Listen up, Akaya. Oh my God, I love let's keep this conversation going over on our Tags Patreon community. You can grab a free tier or a paid tier. We love it either way. And let's keep the conversation going all week long. Tell us about your travel excursions. Do you don a new persona like Madonna does every album? Or are you kind of the
Mhm.
same? And tell us some of your stories. We'll read them on the next show. You can go to patreon.com/ tags podcast. And with that, it's time to get into hot topics, and there are a lot. Let's get
Yes.
into, oh my goodness, leather labels, livelihoods. Should a teacher's private life matter? Is the question. I couldn't wait to talk to you about this story because it all had to do with Thomas Rosengren, a Minnesota educator who recently withdrew from the state's 2026 Teacher of the Year race after explicit images of his past resurfaced online. He's been a teacher for years and has gotten so many accolades, Teddy, but within
Mhm.
days, the narrative shift from celebration to scrutiny. Not long after he was no longer employed by his school district. What are we talking about? Well, recent he has was nominated for this. Apparently, he's been a well respected teacher within the community of Minnesota. He has been a baseball coach. He has, I mean, nothing. lascivious at all. But recent pictures of him came out when he ran for like an eagle contest. And
Mhm.
within that, some pictures came out of him in harnesses. Also, there was the lascivious part, maybe, where he wasn't even having sex in these pictures. For promo purposes, the bar took photos of him simulating a more BDSM type of
Mhm.
scene, but they weren't having it. Either way, it was his private life that he happened. Well, was one of 11 finalists that he could have been recognized by the Education Minnesota for excellence in teaching. When they learned of this, they withdrew him and he got fired. This is crazy. The pictures, Teddy, resurfaced from a 2019 Mr. Minneapolis Eagle contest that began circulating. This is his
Mhm.
private life, but I ran for Mr. New York Eagle, and
Mhm.
pictures could, of course, resurface from that. A lot of other pictures could resurface, but I'm also not in the education system. I'm not in, you know, recently I was talking to her. She's in banking, in a very conservative banking here in New York. She's thinking of taking a tattoo, and it's a butterfly, by the way, on her shoulder, but it somehow peeks through when she's wearing certain blouses, and she knows she's getting certain eyes from the conservative bankers, and she's thinking
Mhm.
of removing portions of it. What do you say to this? And because you're a professor yourself.
Yeah. It's horrifying, but I've seen it too many times to be shocked by it. When it comes to the school districts, they have full control of who they let teach and who doesn't. So anybody that is controversial, and again, I understand if it's people that have any content that can be deemed as problematic, like like the 18 plus kind of thing. That is
Yeah.
kind of, I would say, maybe you don't belong in a classroom. But this dude, it's has nothing to do with anything sexual other than that leather bar thing.
Yeah, he's not,
Um,
for the record, accused of any actions towards
no.
students or anything like that.
But when it comes to kids, a lot of parents really want to control who the teachers are, and they people like gay people and BIPOC people, they we lack context, and what that means is that whatever you do that is off the path, you don't get the context to explain it or to even be a full person. You just have to be perfect, and
Yeah.
sadly, I see that
Nobody is,
happening a
as
lot.
we see.
Nobody is,
I mean, look at all the
but
political arena that we're seeing of things coming out left and right.
but if you think about all the other people, if you're cis straight and white presenting, then that is a whole different ball game because you do get the context of whatever is happening around you. So it's really really scary, and I've seen it even at the level that I am at higher education. I have been coached for jobs that I've been going to, and I've been recommended to remove anything gay from my resume, and I'm like, if I'm gonna remove anything gay, that will be like all my resume. So
You're talking
um
about teaching jobs?
about teaching jobs, but I direct and produce a lot of queer content because
Right.
that's who I am. So I have been recommended by coaches to remove that when I go for jobs and things like that. So I've seen it a lot, where there is this homophobia really baked into the system, and it's scary to be existing in that moment, especially with this inflection of more aggressive anti-queerness
Yeah.
stance that we're taking as a country. So I actually was really sad when I read this article because it seemed like he's a really good teacher, uh,
Yes.
and that the kids really love him and have been learning a lot from him. And this was done intentionally because somebody
Yeah, they didn't just
looked for the pictures.
resurface. Yeah, it
Um,
never is. You know what it reminded me of? And
mm,
the fact that we're talking about it in 2026, it reminded me back in the day. I've mentioned before, I'm such a huge Vanessa Williams fan, and she got crowned Miss America. and it was the 80s, and pictures resurfaced of her, not
Yeah.
unintentionally, of
Yeah.
her posing when she was in college raising funds for Pen, and then they published them in Penthouse, and they made her decrowned. She gave the crown back, and it was a whole thing, and they later apologized. Thank goodness they did the right thing. But and look at her now. I mean,
I
it
mean, they
didn't. Yeah,
apologized, but it was like 30 years later.
it was 30 years later. Yeah, right. And again, this teacher sounded like he should have been one of those 11 finalists and maybe one of the winners, and nothing other than he entered an ego contest. And I mean, he's allowed a private life, and it's just ridiculous. But sadly, I think when you're in education, when you're in conservative fields like banking, in 2026, you still have to think of those things, especially if you're of a marginalized community. I mentioned my friend, she's a Black woman in banking. Now we're talking about a gay man in teaching. These are, of course, they're going to come after these marginalized groups for sure. And I'm not sure it would play the same way if it was a straight white person. So
Yeah.
maybe, but
I really would hope that the community that he is embedded in will come out and to try to help him. But I feel like everybody capitulates, and does let those things happen, which
yeah,
is even more heartbreaking.
yeah, right. He lost his job too. It's not even that he's not in
Yeah.
the competition anymore. It's one thing, okay, fine, take me out of the competition, but don't fire me. That's what's I
Yeah,
am.
that's what I mean. It's that why the school district really capitulated to this, which why? What are the reasons for him to do something with consenting adults where no laws have been broken, where no kids are present, and how is that has any consequence on the job that I'm doing? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I really want to hear about you on this next one because this next
okay.
story is all centered in West Hollywood when
Uh-oh.
two gay dads were in on Santa Monica Boulevard, pushing or walking with their baby, right? Gay dad punches a right wing commentator after being tricked into a homophobic interview, is the line. When a gay dad of
Mhm.
an infant was basically walking down the street and with his husband, a video circulating on social media shows Anthony Voline, a member of West Hollywood's Business License Commission, and his husband, David Voline, being interviewed by anti LGBTQ commentator Riley Niemi. Anthony told the WeHo Times that the interview team lied to the couple and told them they were from CNN. We were walking home on Santa Monica Boulevard. There were four guys. Three of them had cameras, and one of them had a suit on and a mic. They said they were from CNN and wanted to talk to us about our baby. But soon it became clear the interview was not from CNN. They lied as he began to ask them hostile and homophobic questions. What did they ask? Well, things like, have you ever heard about the statistics coming out that gay men are much more likely to commit child molestation? And then he said, do you think it's weird that you guys have a child, but neither of you are a woman? And
Hmm.
I watched this video. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it, Teddy,
Yes.
but you can see the couple look over like they're, wait, what? Because they went into it thinking CNN's doing this thing on gay dads, and they're realizing really quickly that you're not from CNN, motherfucker. Well, one of them, of the couple, chose to take it into his own hands and obviously got upset and stopped
Hmm.
the interview and then proceeded to punch the interviewer, which I kind of
Yes.
liked watching. Did he handle this right though? Because he did get arrested for assault and
Yes.
and he had to go to jail for I think 12 hours, was released, but people are rallying behind him. But what do you think of this?
Well, first of all, this is something that influencers are doing, where they either lie or they crowd you. It has happened to me 3 times.
To get a
Two of
reaction?
Yeah, two of those times have been in WeHo, by the way. all of them have been harmless. It hasn't been like hateful people. But I think that this is a trend that should stop because, you know, we are kind of influencers, right? But you
Yeah,
know, the people that come to us, we like get them in. It's consensual. So these people, first of all, it's horrifying because these people are literally carrying a baby that is like 2 months old,
I know.
and these hateful people are literally attacking them as not only gay men but also human and parents. Um, that it's very problematic.
In a
And
safe
I am,
space, right? WeHo.
and there we ho in off like down the street from my house. You're
Yeah.
in my backyard. So it's just completely disrespectful. I also saw the video. It's horrifying, and these people should not be here. They should not even be allowed to carry cameras. Um, um, they're disgusting. They're literally disgusting people. And just he had handled it better, maybe, but at the same time, sometimes you just have to pop a bitch,
Yeah.
and the
I
bitch got
agree.
popped. You know,
Yeah, exactly. And that little jail time, he's getting so much support from the community, and I think it's really good. So,
these are the guys, by the way, that are looking for trade in behind the alleys in WeHo after they do the filming.
yes.
Just saying.
Yeah. Ugh, disgusting. Okay, we've got to talk about Madonna because the new single, I know Cody and I were talking about her Coachella performance with Sabrina
Mhm.
Carpenter, so good.
Yes.
And we mentioned on that episode that Madonna was actually wearing the outfit that she wore 20 years ago in the original Confessions on the Dance Floor. Well, now she's on Confessions 2, and she rewore it 20 years later and looked fabulous. The corset, the stockings, purple, the boots that are tied up, and even the little jacket. Well, sadly, it's all missing right now. The clothes, the garments that were from personal archives of Madonna, the jacket, the corset, the dress, and all other garments have gone missing somehow. Their 2006 Gucci leather bomber jacket, a lavender satin bodysuit, a Rosso Mario lavender corset that she wore in the Sorry music video. And Madonna posted a thing on her Instagram. These aren't just clothes, they are part of my life. I'm hoping and praying that some kind soul will find these items and reach out to my team. You can reach out to infomaverick2026 at gmail.com. She's offering a reward for their safe return. What do you think about those? I mean, gosh.
It must be devastating for them,
Yeah.
especially because it seemed like they have a good archival system.
Yeah, right. She's
Um,
got like a warehouse somewhere, and it's
yeah,
even cooled temperature because to protect the
yeah.
yeah.
So that must be really sad. What I like that there's pictures of Elton John wearing it, AI generated, and says like, "Guess who found it?" That was funny.
Oh my god,
Um,
some of the queens went crazy with some of the responses. Like who?
yeah,
Oh, I think there was one of Sabrina
yeah,
Carpenter. She stole him and is already making Confessions 3.
yeah,
There was
yeah.
one of Nicki Minaj of her crawling on the floor
No
because
thanks.
yeah, I know.
You know, this is sad to say, but it's probably an inside job.
It is sad, yeah.
Usually when things like that go down, it's somebody that has access to these things. Um, and I wouldn't be surprised if they appear somewhere in the internet and somebody's selling them.
But then we
Um,
know if you're selling them, you're gonna get caught, right?
and
Because
she also said that they took more things. What is missing? I want to know, Madonna. I need to know what else is missing from your archives, okay? Because we are concerned. We are two gay men here that are very concerned about your archives. Um,
exactly.
but
Absolutely.
it kind of puts like a dark cloud into the beautiful community. I know I didn't get to talk about the performance, but I think that
I know.
them two coming together is so beautiful, especially when we see these generational gaps that are happening, specifically with Gen Zs and like millennials and Xers, and seeing these two women together performing, it's just,
It was really
butter.
cool. I was saying I love Madonna because, throughout all of it, she laughs, and at
Mhm.
7, and she always, with a new project, works with somebody who's hot now. So in the past,
Mhm.
it was Britney Spears. Well, Britney Spears isn't really making any music anymore, and then it was Justin Timberlake, and he's not quite as hot as he was, and
Is
so
she the
she
case of death?
well, no, uh-oh.
Maluma?
Maluma, well, he's still doing good, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. She
Um,
also did stuff with Ricky Martin, and Ricky Martin's still hot.
he's still hot, so yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not always the kiss of death, and I don't think it'll be for Sabrina, but it's just funny. She just kind of moves on to whoever's hot now, and I think
Oh
that's a
yeah.
brilliant because she's the ever existing, keeps
Bitch,
going,
I'm
and
Madonna.
bitch, I'm Madonna.
Oh
Oh my god, we had so much more to talk about, but it's time for Thirst Trap. This
my
hour goes
goodness.
by so fast,
I
and
know.
we have to have you back. Thirst Trap is straight up gay porns weekly, all year long, asking the question which adult star took the hottest thirst trap of the week. And it's our job on a audio podcast to vividly describe why.
Ooh,
So you got to describe, but I will put this link on our tags Patreon community so
yes.
you'll be able to vote when you listen to this. 16 gay porn stars took the best. Who took the best photo? It's our job to vividly describe. Who did you pick and why, Teddy?
Um. Well, first of all, very few men of color this week. Just saying, straight up gay porn. Let's color
Right.
it up, please.
Color it
Um.
up. Stay in the
Jade
lines, but
Mullet.
color it.
Yeah, Jade Mullix is a very good looking man, has chisel, and he has a goatee, and he has a penis that I like the way that it stands. I always like a up
Oh,
penis a lot. I really like it. And he has a
that's
cobra tattoo in his shoulder that is very sexy and very foretelling of what you're up to, if you know what I
oh
mean.
yes, I see who you're talking about now. Yes, it's like at a tension there with a New York baseball cap. I love it.
What about
Shout
you?
out, yeah, shout out to somebody that I met on Bakaya,
Oh,
Sumner Blaine, and he was love. We did a couple photo shoots, promo photo shoots for them on that trip, and he was a great guy, and he looks really good in this picture. In fact, we're trying to get Sumner and his husband Cody on the show soon. We're just working out our schedules. So shout out to him. He looks really good standing in his room there. But the one that I picked is Gabe Packing, who I think is Latino.
of
Uh,
course you
at,
did.
when I looked at him, he is 18 years old, according to him, but he's
It's
legal. He's sitting back on a chair and he's got a little mustache and really great eyebrows. And he's just looking back. He's got his shorts on and his dick is protruding upwards and it's huge and nice ball sack. And I looked at a lot. I like to look if they create a link to their X account to get a
yes.
little bit. I know that's probably cheating, but I
No,
looked a little bit more and I
it's called
liked he's got a
context.
yeah, I think he seems newer on the scene, but that dick is pointing upward, and I'm saluting it, and it's delicious, and yeah, and he seems somebody new on the scene. Surprisingly, right now at least, he's only doing kind of solo work. I don't know if that's staying that way or not, but Doug watching us live says Reese
Mhm.
Scott and his hairy chest. Oh yeah, I saw that. That was a good one. Bryce says Jay Mollix as well, and Gabe is
Yes.
my second or third fave. So we're on
Mhm.
trend, and be sure to vote on these
Yes,
because
please.
yeah, I'm going to vote on mine right now. Keep them going. Diego in the other room, do you have somebody you're picking? My husband, I don't know if he is but maybe he'll put it in the mix. Chetty, this was so much fun. I had a great time with you. We barely got to our topics, but good discussion. You can
Amazing discussion.
follow Teddy on his Instagram at Teddy Alexis. And do you still have shows coming up, theater in LA?
Yes, we had 2 more weekends for the Frida Kahlo, starting Eureka O'Hara for Divine Faculty and my show Yolanda's Baby Shower, which is me and a couple other people that are really, really fun.
Where can people find
Oh,
tickets? Yeah.
and you should rewatch or watch Cody Maurice's video, which is Proof of Love on YouTube. Please give us some views.
Yes, Teddy directed Proof of Love by our very own Teddy Alexis, and it was shot in the Frida Kahlo Theater, and it's so
Yes,
good. I love that song. I love the music video. Congratulations again. Follow
thank
me on
you.
the gram. I am underscore Steve V. And in the meantime, continue having hot
Hot
gay
gay
sex.
sex.
Lovely, everyone.
Bye.